All right, my fellow builders and custom creations fanatics, check out this little piece of eye candy. It's got that vintage vibe, that open wheel swagger. But if you're like me, you're probably thinking one thing: where's the darn trunk? Exactly. This little hot rod needs some storage with just as much character. We're not gonna just strap it down. We're going full DIY on this mission today. We're gonna turn this little wagon into a unique but functional trunk that perfectly complements the T-Bucket swagger. This is about creative problem solving and proving that sometimes there's not just an OEM part you can go out and buy. You gotta get creative and find what works. Join me today as we disassemble, modify, mount, and finish out the look of this unique rig. Alright, our little wagon is ready for its radical transformation. The first step into turning this into a trunk is naturally just tearing it apart. We need to strip it down to just the body, and all the extras I'll just put in the parts bin because I'm sure I'll use them on a future project. And since we're going for that old school weathered look, there's no need for paint. That means all of our prep work is all about preservation. Most of these little wagons are usually just put together with nuts and bolts, and sometimes rivets.
That's beyond rivets.
We lucked out, this one's been redone before, so it's got fresh hardware and it's not even tightened. It will be the simplest teardown project I've ever done. Now it's time for some simple cleaning since we're wanting to keep that old school weather look. No need to sand it down, no need to paint it, and I've already power washed it, so a simple wipe down will do. With our wagon body all prepped, now it's time to make some decisions on how to mount it. The first thing we need to do is just measure it and figure out the size of the base that we'll need. Now for the fun part, the building. I'm not going real deep into the fabrication on this. I'm just using a 2x4 to make a nice sturdy platform that will be able to handle anything that we can possibly carry in this little wagon. Depending on how robust your wagon is, you'll need to decide if it's going to need some extra bracing over the wheel wells because it's only getting mounted right in the center.
So I cut me a couple 2x4s earlier, and I was going through my scrap 2x4s, and I just so happened to find 3 of them that will work out perfectly. So I just got to cut one more out of that scrap, and then I'll have my base for it. I decided to turn these ones on the end on their side so that way the wheel would fit a little bit better. I like to make a pilot hole so that way I don't split the wood at the edge. Get the hell out of here.
Fine, I'll be in the
Crankshaft, how do you think that looks for some on the spot at home make it fit fabrication?
I like that there's hardly no wheel gap. But this side looks like shit. I assume this side is gonna look the same.
Damn, Crankshaft, tell me how you really feel.
If you don't like my opinion, then don't ask.
This is where my inexperience and just, you make mistakes. I don't know why I didn't think this was going to be the base, so it only need cut out where I needed to cut out the 2x4. for some reason I was thinking it would need cut back several inches. So now there's a huge gap. That's exactly what I should have done, was cut the lip there and then came across the top of the wagon up until that point and only cut that little section out there. And then I would have been able to fold the rest of it up under here and it would have looked really good. But I'm a moron and wasn't thinking, and now that's what I'm left with. So maybe eventually I'll just go ahead and get another wagon, since I know exactly how this needs cut now. And I'm just gonna put a piece of wood in here for now. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
just like that, it's a wicked little addition. It's got clean edges, an open concept. The character is still there, just repurposed, and ready for its new life of hauling all those miniature road trip essentials. So there it is. Weeks of planning, some precision cutting, and a little bit of help from the boys have finally paid off. Our mini T-bucket trailer is done. Well, for now at least. For now, it has its very own custom wagon turned trunk. We preserved that awesome OG old school look. And now it fits seamlessly on the back of the T-bucket trailer. And having Rivet here really completes that DIY, rustic home-built look. Don't you think so, Crankshaft?
Yeah.
But this just isn't about looks. This open-top trunk is genuinely functional. Need a place for some detailing supplies when you're at the car show? Plenty of room. Or maybe you're packing for a miniature road trip. Crankshaft here can keep a watchful eye over all them Lonnies. It's perfect for stashing all those essentials from tools to snacks to toys. Or a set of emergency bones for Crankshaft.
I was just driving the T-bucket.
This wagon trunk provides all the easy access storage that we could ask for, with Rivet here keeping a watchful eye over it. It's that perfect blend of DIY ingenuity, classic style, and practical utility. With our two shop hand companions, Crankshaft and Rivet, gave it a new life and added that unique custom touch to our mini T-bucket trailer. I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. I could be just a little happier with the way it turned out. So after transforming an old wagon into a custom trunk with the help of Crankshaft and Rivet, what's the verdict? Would you stain it light, dark, a mixture of both? Or would you go even further and turn it into a flip top seat? How would you finish it out? For me, this project was a huge win. It added so much character and functionality to the T-bucket trailer, proving that creative DIY can make a huge difference. If you're a custom builder, mini vehicle enthusiast, or just someone who loves a challenge, I highly recommend you find a way to add some storage to your projects that can add the same kind of unique personality and character. Sometimes the coolest additions come from the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this build, found it inspiring, helpful, or just entertaining, tickle that like button. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see more unique custom build projects, and perhaps even more adventures with Crankshaft and Rivet, make sure you remember to sub up before you select another video. I'm on my way to my goal to 300,000. I'm only at 286 subs right now, so make sure you tickle that one on the way out too. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.